Buck up. We're just getting started.
Oh, it's Best Buy Enrique voice.
Yes, it's Best Buy Enrique voice. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's me. It's Enrique. Welcome to another episode of Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. This is actually episode number 50. I suppose this is some kind of fucking milestone, but whatever. Welcome back, John. We haven't had you on in like 2 weeks, man.
I've been doing other shit, like, playing video games. Been playing a bunch of them video games. I hear they're pretty cool, so I wanted to give them a shot, and it worked out. I enjoy them.
Yeah, that sounds like the life of a neutral.
I am a pony extraordinaire, or neutral, whatever I don't know. I don't know what all the kids are saying these days. So, but yeah, whatever it is, I guess I'm it. So
yeah,
say something about dabbing. Is that it?
Yeah.
That's
and I wanted to point out for all our female fans out there, you can see my taco meat right here. So opening the collar up a little bit for all our female audience. So you're welcome.
Like one of the Bee Gees.
Right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I got the chain going and everything.
There you go. Well, welcome back, John.
I don't even know what to say.
Just stare at the taco meat, Bella.
Nothing needs to be said.
Yeah. John, what are you drinking?
I
am drinking. It's okay. It's a Dogfish Head 90 Minute. It's not the best IPA I've ever had, but it's
90 minutes. 90 minutes, not bad, but yeah, it's definitely not the best out there. I'm actually drinking a Flying Dog Snake Dog IPA.
That's not the best either.
Have you had it before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I've literally had probably every IPA on the planet.
Yeah, Ballast Point's probably my favorite right now still.
Ballast Point.
Yeah,
I'm drinking an ice water IPA.
Oh, yeah. Those are pretty good. So
yeah.
So John, welcome back, man. It's great to see you again. We've missed you. And we also have a returning guest, 4 weeks in a row, I think now. Miss Bella
Achievement
Rise.
unlocked.
Yeah, Bella, that's an achievement for you. It's a rare achievement.
Indeedy. Especially considering that I should be playing Final Fantasy right now. I just want to go on the record and say I hate you.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we predict a very short podcast tonight.
Guys, this podcast is probably going to be short because I do want to go back to playing Final Fantasy 15. And actually, I like John, I almost thought about bailing tonight and saying, you know what, play Final Fantasy 15, But
isn't that Japanese trash that nobody wants to play? Niche trash?
Well, it's a game that weirdos play.
It's a weird Japanese indie game.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It's one of those weirdo Japanese games with the boobies in it. Like, nobody wants to play that shit.
Yeah, nobody wants to look at boobies. Yeah, so but Bella, it's always a pleasure having you on. It's been cool to have you on the last 4 weeks. We know this isn't going to last forever, so thank you again for taking time out of your crazy day to sit down and shoot the shit with us.
Oh, you're most welcome. It's always a pleasure to be here. The only thing you're keeping me away from right now, as I said before, is Final Fantasy.
The theme of the night will be let's get going so we can get back to Final Fantasy.
Buck up. You just started.
I'm gonna send you an invoice for the hour and a half of Final Fantasy gameplay that you owe me.
And without further ado, Mr. Sam Tolbert is here with us tonight. Sam, my brother from Rivia. What's going on, man?
Not much. I think I'm the only one who isn't waiting to get back to, Final Fantasy 15.
Why is that?
Because I may have never played a Final Fantasy game.
But I've already told you don't have to have played. It even says in the titles, for the fans and first timers.
This is true.
But if you would let me finish, though, I also haven't really been playing much of anything at all because I've been busy with finals. So it's not, I was about to say, it's not like I've really played much of anything the past week at all.
Sam, when did finals wrap up for you, buddy?
A week from today.
All right, so I'm going to put in the mail 340s for you to celebrate.
You do that, man. You do that.
Yeah. 340s of, what is it, Steel Reserve?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
St. Ides, baby.
St. Ides. I'm trying to hit the corner store. Without further ado, we have Eric Jackson. What's going on, Eric?
Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Eric Jackson, broadcasting from South Beach.
Trying to get back to that Final Fantasy. I haven't started yet. I just picked it up today, so while everyone else has started rolling on it, I will start rolling on it. And like Sam said, it is installed.
Right.
I had it ready to roll. So, but like Sam said, you know, I've not been much of a Final Fantasy person, but you know, I've evolved as a gamer. So,
all right,
yeah,
sweet. Last but not least, B Money.
What's up, everybody? It's Final Fantasy week. Last Guardian next week. So, you know, I'm feeling real good right now.
Ooh,
that's got to be like the most levels of excitement I've ever heard in your voice.
No more games.
That's that Final Fantasy effect, man. This shit's real.
This shit is real.
It's real. Yeah. It's serious. It's serious fucking business.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, before we jump into Final Fantasy 15, I just want to make a quick announcement. We're going to be giving away a PC copy of Mortal Kombat X to those in the live chat. And so just, you know, yeah, we'll be doing that tonight.
Well, not all in the live chat. One in the live chat, just to be specific.
Yes, one in the live chat. Thank you, Bella.
You too can spam Scorpion's special move over and over and over.
Get over here. Yeah. Get over here.
Hey, you don't even want to come near my katana.
Rated.
And before we start talking about Final Fantasy, I got to throw out the next week. It's buy two, get one at Best Buy.
Nope.
So if you haven't picked up Final Fantasy yet and are looking to get Final Fantasy and The Last Guardian, that's probably the best time to do it and pick up something else.
Oh,
and if you had games unlocked?
Yes.
Stacks on stacks.
Racks on racks on racks.
I'm telling you, man, this holiday season has been hitting on like deals and just, man, I mean, like, just on fire.
My
console sales, software sales, just beautiful.
Yeah, my wallet is fucked right now.
Yo, I'm neutraling all over this bitch, man.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, neutrals spend money. I'll just say that.
Man, it's
crazy. I spent some dope.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, let's jump into Final Fantasy 15. John, I know you're dying. I can see it in your face, man. You're dying to fucking talk about this game. So let's get your impressions on Final Fantasy 15, John.
Okay. Excuse me. So a little backstory. I'm a lifelong Final Fantasy fan, right? Like this is my favorite series of all time. And Final Fantasy 6 was my first one actually, and then I went back and I played 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and 5 and you know, so but Final Fantasy 6 was my first one. It came out when I was in the 8th grade, and it was a time in my life where I was enduring severe emotional and physical abuse at home. And so Final Fantasy came along. You know, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I truly feel that we don't choose the games that we love or the things that we love. They choose us. These things come along at the right moment in our lives, right? And had Final Fantasy come along at a different moment in my life, like a happy moment in my life, maybe I would have a different relationship with it. But as it stands, it came along and it really, really saved me in a time where I needed something positive. It was the first time in a game, you know, and I had already played games, you know, like Super Metroid. I was already an avid gamer, but I had never really appreciated a story or a group of characters like I did, you know, Terra and Edgar and Sabin and Locke and even Kefka.
Edgar was great. Kefka was a badass.
Kefka was great. The villain, and we'll get to that. So you know so let's consider Final Fantasy 15 years later, right? Like Final Fantasy 10, I was good. I don't kneel at the altar of Final Fantasy 10 like some other Final Fantasy fans do. I did not like 12. I'm probably going to give the HD remaster another go, but I made it all the way to the final boss of 12 in Afghanistan. I was playing it, by the way, and I just decided I didn't care. I was like, this isn't resonating with me. I am on the Final Fantasy 13 Defense Force. I thought it was good for what it was. The best game ever, or by far it was not the best Final Fantasy ever, but I enjoyed it for what it was. So in 2006, Final Fantasy 15 was announced as Versus 13. Now so 10 years later it comes out. Now let's consider that for a minute, right? My son is 8.5 years old, so my son wasn't even born when Final Fantasy 15 was announced. The iPhone was not yet on sale. People were still using iPods. There was no iPhones. There was no iPads. I was using a flip phone in 2006. I was in the Marine Corps. I was still 2 years from getting out of the Marine Corps when Versus 13 was announced. So I mean, it's been a long fucking time, and I guess, you know, like the big question that everybody had leading up to it was, is this game going to live up to a 10-year dev cycle? And everybody was convinced this game was going to suck. Right? Everybody was convinced it was going to be a disaster. On Superform Gamescast, which goes live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I said it countless times on SDGC. I've said it countless times on Brap. You guys have heard me say, I believe. It's going to be great. I believe in Tabata.
Yep.
I believe he's going to give us a great product. And lo and behold, it's here, and it's fucking awesome. I am completely engrossed in it. I will probably do the same thing I do with every Final Fantasy game and play through it 3 fucking times. So the game is split into 15 chapters. I'm on chapter. I think I'm right at the end of chapter 5 right now. I took the whole day off yesterday off of work to play it. I played it all fucking day. I've already got 20 hours logged. The game is just a fucking wonderful game. It's just a wonderful, wonderful game. There are some criticisms that people have that I do understand, and I can totally relate to them, and I see where people are coming from. One of them being that the story takes some time to get going.
Yep.
The way I see it, the story is really starting to ramp up right around chapter 4 and 5. I'm right at the very end of chapter 5, and the story is really getting going now. But I feel like the first 4 chapters of the game are dedicated to building the relationship between your party, Noctis and Gladio and Prompto and Ignis, right? And, some people say, oh, well, I don't like the fact that a lot of the game is driving. I mean, you drive from one place to another, but it really adds, but they're bantering the whole way. And they're a really likable group of guys. And the driving and the camping really kind of provide, it really helps build that sense of these are dudes, these are bros on a road trip, right? It just happens to be on a road trip in a Final Fantasy world with, Mulburrows and Behemoths and Faraga spells. The combat is probably previously Final Fantasy XIII's combat system was my favorite, but this has kind of supplanted it. I don't ever want to go back to active time battle Final Fantasy 15 because it's fun, it's frenetic, it's kind of a combination, and there's still that strategic element to it because there's a wait mode, right? Just like in older Final Fantasy games, you had active or wait for your ATB system. But you can do a wait mode. It basically you stop. As soon as you stop moving the battlefield, everything grays out, everything freezes, and you've got lines kind of like in Final Fantasy 12, where if an enemy was targeting you, there would be a red line targeting your character, and then so very similar to that. And there's a kind of an element of strategy to it. I like my games to be challenging, so I don't really use wait mode. There's a ton of side quests to do. In fact, there's a trophy for 80 side quests, completing all 80 side quests, and there's a shitload of hunts, just like in Final Fantasy 12, which put you up against very powerful enemies and bosses throughout the world. In the post game, obviously I have not beaten the game, but I know about the post game. There are 7 optional high level dungeons. One of them that takes 5 hours to clear. Mm-hmm. Confirmed by Jason Schreier at Kotaku. He says it took me 5 hours to clear this dungeon. There are 8 optional super bosses. One of them is the size of a mountain. You can look at the video on YouTube. It's incredible.
Yep.
And this game, and I talked about Kefka earlier. This game, the villain of this game is Arden, and he is the best villain in a Final Fantasy game since Kefka in 1994.
Wow,
and
Sephiroth.
Sephiroth was a fucking pretty boy emo piece of shit.
But it's funny. A lot of people, you ask them who's the best villain in Final Fantasy series. A lot of people say Sephiroth.
Sephiroth.
No, I know. I mean, I agree with you, but I'm saying a lot of people say Sephiroth.
No, it's absolutely not. It's absolutely not Sephiroth. But so yeah, getting back to what I was saying, I lost my train of thought there for a minute. So Arden is very, very similar to Kefka in the sense that he is just kind of gleefully evil. His theme is very similar to that kind of clownish theme that Kefka had. He's very flamboyant. He's very theatrical, and the voice actor Darren DePaul, you wouldn't guess it, but he's got like this really, really sanguine, kind of just really symmetrical evil about him. And you wouldn't guess it, but the voice actor Darren DePaul actually also voiced Reinhardt in Overwatch. Which is just a completely different kind of character. Yeah. But Arden is a great fucking. He is what I would call a scene stealing character. And very much like Kefka. How like in Final Fantasy VII or like in some of the older Final Fantasies like 4 when you had Golbez or Exdeath in Final Fantasy V, these guys were never around. Mm-hmm. Like they were always like they would show up at a critical moment. You wouldn't see him again for 10 hours. But Arden is very similar to Kefka in the sense that he is constantly around. He is developed just as much as your main party is, as your main character.
Not to the past.
Arden is a constant presence in the game, and it really goes a long way into building him and developing him as a character. I can't say enough good things about Final Fantasy 15. I needed this to be good. I needed this game to be good, and it is. And right now, I'm only 5 chapters, and this may sound like hyperbole, but it's not. 5 chapters in, it is my second favorite Final Fantasy game of all time.
Wow.
And will it make a run on Final Fantasy VI? Who knows? But I will say this: there is nothing like hopping in that fucking car and driving around the overworld listening to Terra's theme from Final Fantasy VI. And I want to point out that the ability to do that, both on your MP3 player, walking through the overworld, and driving in the regalia, that was a recommendation from a fan. And Tabata said, you know what, that's a really good fucking idea, and he implemented it. But if you are a Final Fantasy fan, or you're new to the series, I strongly urge you to go pick up the game. It's fucking phenomenal. There's enough shit that I've heard that the storyline lasts about, I don't know, maybe 35 hours, 40 hours. Yeah. And there's an additional literally 60 hours. Jason Schreier played 100 hours of the game. He hasn't done everything there is to do. So it is a massive, massive fucking game. The combat is very similar to it's like a cross between classic Final Fantasy, and like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry.
It's funny you mentioned Devil May Cry. I was kind of thinking that when I was playing it last night.
That's exactly what it's like. Yeah. It is very similar. And I'll end on this. Some people have said, well, it's a flop because it's got like an 85 on OpenCritic. I don't use Metacritic, by the way. Metacritic is garbage. Use OpenCritic. It's a far more accurate representation of gaming scores, and I hate numbered scores to begin with. But it's got an 85 on OpenCritic. And people saying, well, for a Final Fantasy game, that's terrible. And I'm like, the fuck out of here, dude. It's a fucking amazing game. And the thing is, I firmly believe, and I don't give a shit about score, but for people who do give a shit about score, I'll tell you this. I firmly believe that if Final Fantasy 15 had come out in its current state in 2009, it would have gotten to the 90s because people handed out fucking 9s and 10s last gen like goddamn candy. I feel like, IGN gave Uncharted 4 an 8.8. Critics this generation are generally more critical and they're harder to please, and I think this is a good thing. It makes an 8 or a 9 worth something again, as opposed to a 10. So Shadow of Mordor was one of the best games in 2014. It had an 85 on OpenCritic. An 85 is a fucking phenomenal score. So an 85 is a great score, period. Some of the best games this year have been 85. Gears of War 4. I haven't played it, but I've heard it's a fucking phenomenal game. Phenomenal game.
Really good game.
Robbed for Game of the Year I've heard from a lot of people I trust, and it has an average of 85 on OpenCritic. So stop. Just don't worry about the fucking score of the game and just enjoy it. Because it's a great fucking game, and it is exactly what I needed. Like I'll pass the mic now. I've been talking way too fucking long, but I really wanted to get that off my chest. I've been dying to talk about it all day. And it's just I really needed this game, and I'm so fucking glad that it turned out as amazing as it did, because it could have ended up much differently.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what, John? Actually, I'm going to wrap up the podcast. I'm going to go play Final Fantasy 15.
All right, see you later.
So, no, that Kefka comparison actually really got me excited and hyped to go back and play the game right now.
Enrique, one more thing.
Yeah.
One more thing. The music in this game. It is Jesus.
It's fucking great.
It is the best Final Fantasy soundtrack I've ever just full disclosure to everybody in chat. I had the final boss spoiled for me by accident before I played the game, which was fine. But I played the first minute and a half of the final boss theme from the soundtrack for these guys, and how hype is that shit?
Oh, it's real hype.
Like it got me hyped. It's fucking legit.
I'm gonna walk in the room. I'm gonna walk in a room with that song on from now on. When I come to the office and work. That shit's good.
Every time I walk into a room, I demand that the theme from The Mummy plays. But that's just me. But go play. Yeah, it's just a great fucking game. Couldn't be happier with it.
It's funny. I was telling Bella last night that I caught feels in the beginning, like the opening song. Stand by. I mean,
Stand by Me by Florence and the Machine.
Yeah, it was just fuck. I was just like, I caught feels.
Oh yeah, it's just what a fucking game. Like all respect to you, Enrique, but I want to drop right now. Go fucking play it. But I'm not going to.
John, we wouldn't blame you, man. We would understand if you did. Bella, real quick, why don't you give us your impressions since you're the guest tonight?
Sure. So, trying to encapsulate how I feel about my experience in this game so far is really difficult because without giving away certain things of it that are you would like to allow for people to experience on their own, it can be really hard to give examples. But the final point that John just made about the soundtrack, like, holy crap, that is potentially the best soundtrack to any video game I've played. Like, it's just brilliantly done. It sets the mood amazingly. The characters, you instantly fall in love with them. They're just so likable and you want to protect them. And that's one of the other things that I don't want to give anything away. But for anybody who's played it already, like, you'll know, if Noctis gets knocked around a little bit, what the team does. Yeah. And just the fact that they react like that, like, it makes you feel like, they would lay their life down for you. You genuinely feel that. The game is stunning. It is addictive, and it's been done in such a way that it doesn't matter if you haven't played previous installments in the Final Fantasy franchise. This is a game, as they actually say in the credits, it is for fans and for first-timers. Mm-hmm. So you can enjoy it regardless. The battle system is really good. It's very easy to use, very intuitive. Get the game. If you haven't got the game yet, please go get the game. You will not regret it.
Yeah, no, it really is. Sam, we've talked about this offline with Sam. Sam has never played a Final Fantasy game.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, he's Sam's young.
Now hold on, John. Let's not get into games you haven't played.
I'm just saying that is worse. That is worse than me not ever having played Halo 2. I'm sorry, but it is. It's worse.
There were a few
worse,
but I'll let it go.
Yeah, but Sam, this is a game you could definitely pick up and just jump right into, and enjoy it. I mean, for me, I grew up playing Final Fantasy, and for me, it's just such an amazing experience to just see where this franchise has come from the first Final Fantasy all the way to 15 now, because 15 to me it's a different game. It's an open world game. It kind of combines that that strategic turn-based combat that the series is known for, but also it also injects some of that faster action game style that we're used to with some of the more modern RPGs that we see today. And John, you mentioned Devil May Cry. I immediately thought of Devil May Cry, and I was like, yeah, this is fucking great. I love Devil May Cry. It's one of my favorite games. And Bella, you mentioned the combat. It's easy to pick up. It's intuitive. It is. It really is. It's a welcoming game. And I just can't. And again, I've only played 2 hours of the game, but I can't say enough great things about this game so far. I like the shift from what we've traditionally seen in Mortal Kombat, in a Final Fantasy game. It's always been more linear based.
Well, what's interesting is that, like, Enrique, I want to touch on what you're saying, because, like, I feel like the openness of the game and the just kind of the almost sensory overload of side quests and hunts is like a direct answer to the criticisms levied against Final Fantasy 13. Because, while, like, I was not one of those people who said, oh, it's just corridors. Because, I mean, honestly, like, every Final Fantasy game is linear.
Yeah.
Every single point. You're being funneled to a point. I mean, yes, you have a map to walk around in, but like Final Fantasy 7 is a great example. You're inexorably moving towards a certain point. There's not this... And Final Fantasy X, I was like, why does everybody love that and hate 13? Because it's the same fucking thing. You're going literally straight forward.
Yeah.
Like, the maps are going straight. Like, but I feel like this is a direct answer to the criticisms that Final Fantasy 13 got, because there is so much to fucking do, and the world is so fucking big and open. Like it's just it's incredible how wide open the game really is.
Yeah, yeah.
And it appeals to more than just like one group of people as well. Like being able to have that choice in how you play the game. If you're the kind of person that really likes to be constantly working towards the end of the game, that just wants to follow the story and get through it, then the game allows you to do that. If you're the kind of person that wants to go and spend hours upon hours searching the land and getting collectibles and doing all the side missions, you can do that. You can do a little bit of one day and a little bit of the other day. Like it just allows for you to play it however you want to play it.
I literally I crawled into work today after like 5 or 4.5 hours of sleep, fucking just hating myself because I was up so late.
Yeah.
Like, I was there I downloaded it because, you know, I'm digital. I download everything. But I was there at midnight and I was up till 4 a.m.
Nice.
Fucking just like I used to do. Just like I used to do when any other Final Fantasy game came out and I was younger. I was up all fucking night playing that shit.
Yeah.
And I even slept downstairs in the basement because my wife was like, don't be coming up here to bed at 4 o'clock and waking me up. So I slept downstairs in the basement, woke up at like fucking 9 o'clock the next morning after 4 hours. I was like, fuck my life. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. I got Final Fantasy 15 to play all day. So I just went and made some breakfast, some coffee, came right the fuck back downstairs. And I was just, my wife came down and she just kind of looked at me. She was just smiling. She was like, I was like, what? And she was like, I'm so happy that it turned out good. And I was like, I know, right? Because you'd be talking to a much different individual if it turned out to be a shitty game.
You'd be angry, John, instead of happy, John.
I would have given up video games if this game had ended up being terrible.
No, you
well, we do invest so much
in
franchises like that, you know, like you were saying, they actually do hold a very special place in our hearts, particularly one franchises that we've been playing for years and years and years and years. There's a lot of us that we see in ourselves in the game, and a lot of emotion that it brings out of us that other franchises can't bring, and a lot of consolement that we can get from these sort of games, you know. So
that's a great point.
And apparently it's selling very, very well. It's #1 on Amazon right now.
Good. So it should be.
Did it sell like 2 million in its first week in Japan or something?
I'm not sure. I don't have.
I heard something crazy like that.
I don't have the immediate pre-sales in front of me, and I do have access to sales numbers, but I don't have any for Final Fantasy 15.
Insider.
But sort of. But what I can tell you is that it is apparently selling incredibly well. And I mean, at this point, Final Fantasy 16 is a foregone conclusion because of its Final Fantasy 15 is because the inside word in Square Enix is that Final Fantasy 16 was wholly dependent upon how Final Fantasy 15 performed. And now that it's getting great reviews and it's selling phenomenally well, it is the second highest selling title for Amazon for the month of November, behind only Pokemon Sun and Moon, which sold like fucking 3.7 million copies in a week. Which
that's insane.
Blows my fucking mind. But you know, so if not for Pokemon Sun and Moon, it would be the highest selling game on Amazon for the month of November, at least for PlayStation. I mean, obviously, and this is not a dig against Xbox in case fucking any of the idiots are fucking watching, which I'm sure you are. Hi, how you doing? But this is not a dig against Xbox, but I expect the ratio of PS4 to Xbox One sales to be heavily skewed towards PlayStation, just because it's a franchise that is heavily associated with the PlayStation brand. That's generally where people who love JRPGs go. And so I just like Metal Gear Solid, it's just kind of one of those PlayStation brands. I expect it to sell much better on the PlayStation. Again, not a dig against Xbox for any of you idiots who might be watching. Still come at me if you want.
Oh, pony!
But, yeah.
Well, there is also the fact that it actually, like, graphically is slightly better on the PlayStation. So,
don't bring that up.
Hey, fact is a fact. It actually is graphically better.
Let's be honest. Well, if we're going to say that, then we also have to bring up the issues it's having on PS4 Pro.
Yes, it is having some issues with PS4.
Because
now,
if you're playing it,
there's supposed to be a patch coming, all right?
Well, so here's the deal. I have a PS4 Pro. And I want to point out, this is not a problem with the hardware. This is just like every other game that has issues. This is a software issue. There needs to be better optimization of these Pro patches. And this is a dev issue, not a hardware issue. Having said that, there are some frame pacing problems on the high resolution mode, basically the 4K mode, for PS4 Pro. And what frame pacing is basically just kind of when you're moving the camera around, it gets choppy, right? It's almost like the camera sticks. If you put it on light mode, it goes away. right? So, but what I'm doing is I'm playing it on light mode, and I have HDR turned on, and this is one of the finest representations of HDR ever for a game. Like the colors really pop. It's phenomenal. It looks great on the Pro. The patch that is coming out in December will supposedly hopefully fix the frame pacing problem, but it will also add a 60 frames a second option. So I am all over that. But if you have a Pro, put it on light mode, turn HDR on. If you have a 4K HDR television, which if you have the Pro, you should. And it looks fucking great. It's a beautiful fucking game.
Yeah, all joking aside.
I did want to point. I want to be fair to both sides. It is having some issues in its high res mode on PS4 Pro. That's undeniable.
Yeah, no.
The only issue I've come across so far, and it's not so much an issue, it's more of an annoyance, is, and you'll laugh when I say this, but the load times can be a bit lengthy. But it's not that big a deal, you know, but yeah, it is like a little annoying.
Especially when you're moving from chapter to chapter, it's kind of obnoxious.
Yeah, like it gets annoying. You're just sitting there going,
deducted points.
I feel like me and Bella. I feel like Bella and I are doing all the talking. I want to hear from somebody else.
Well, I'm trying to talk, but every time I talk, Bella talks. So
yeah, Bella,
get out of here.
No, I just wanted to bring up a point Bella mentioned about how this game kind of taps into. For those of us who have played this game and have memories of this game, John shared a story of Final Fantasy and what it means to him. I mean, you know, for a lot of us who, and I'm old as shit. Well, I'm not that old, but not as old as Eric. Almost though.
Damn, how'd I get thrown under the bus, man?
But yeah, you know, I Bella brought up a great point. I mean, for me, it's 30 years of my life. It really is. And it took me back to my childhood, which was great. I mean, it just, you know, it took me away from the bullshit of life, the hustle and bustle of life, all the stress of life, and it just took me away from that. And it was such a great experience for me. I caught feels. I really did. The first minute I caught feels. And
you give me the feels, Enrique. You give me the bro feels, man.
Yeah, no, I know I do. You know, we should me, you, Eric, and B Money should just cosplay Final Fantasy 15.
I am clearly Gladio.
Please don't.
Yeah,
I am very clearly Gladio because of my impressive physique.
Your broadsword. So yeah, I mean, it hit home for me, but it was a good feeling. It's why I game, you know, and I think it's something that a lot of people forget about when they do all this stupid fucking console wars bullshit. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I just all I wanted to say is if action role playing games are your thing, I highly recommend you check that out. That might be more your speed. World of Final Fantasy is a great fucking game. Anyway, I wanted to throw it quick. Anyway, sorry, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. So B Money, you picked this up yesterday as well, right?
Yeah, I finally got a chance to hop into it today.
All right. So what are your thoughts, man?
I'm loving it, man. Like Bella and John said, the game is beautiful. And you know, if you haven't checked out Kingsglaive, I would highly recommend doing that before playing the game. I think it really is a great lead up to the game, and kind of, you know, if you're a first time Final Fantasy player, you know, it gives you a little bit of background of the story and kind of lets you know what you're getting into. But as far as the game, I've been playing it for like 5 hours, and I'm loving it, man. Combat is great. The atmosphere is amazing. And unlike, you know, everybody else, I really didn't start playing Final Fantasy till about 8 years ago. I was more of like a Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest guy.
Nothing wrong with that.
And then
Great series, man.
Yeah, one of my boys finally, you know, put me on to Final Fantasy 7, so I went back and played that.
B Money, did you play the first Dragon Warrior?
Yes, I did.
Here's an even more important question, B Money. Have you played Dragon Quest Builders?
I played the demo. I haven't got a chance to play the entire game yet.
It is literally a retelling of the first Dragon Warrior.
Oh,
nice!
I have to get that.
It's even got that classic. It's got some classic like 8-bit music in it. Like it's fucking great.
I still have Dragon
Warrior. I have to pick that up.
I still have that cartridge. It's crazy.
Yeah,
great fucking game.
Mm.
But 15 is crazy, you know, and I just can't wait to get back in it. It's probably going to be the game I play probably the rest of the year. Dedicate the most time to and try to get it wrapped up. So
I've got the special edition of the Last Guardian coming next week because I want that freaking I want that Trigo statue.
Yeah.
But it will sit in the corner, dusty and unused, until I got like 3 playthroughs of Final Fantasy 15. And then I'll be like, all right, I guess I'll play The Last Guardian.
I'm not buying that game.
B-Money, I want to ask you, man, like, dude, like, Kingsglaive, I enjoyed Kingsglaive for all the Final Fantasy Easter eggs, like Ultros. When Ultros popped up, like, I stood up, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Because I was like, dude, that gave me the Final Fantasy VI feel, obviously. But I do want to point out that the character of Libertus was probably the worst voice acting I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't that great.
Remember the Kingsglaive who was on the crutch?
Yeah.
Like I was like because my son, who just the other week was like we were driving. My son and I were driving. I was taking him home. He's 8.5 years old. I said, I'm going to put a song on the radio, buddy. He says, can it be Final Fantasy? And I was like, yeah, it can. but no, dude, I was like. No, dude, he said that, and now I was like, but no, it was a moment.
Love you.
I had a moment. But dude, like, so I was watching Kingsglaive with my son and my wife, and me and my son are both like, and my wife is like, and she's like, and bear in mind, like, my wife loves games. She's a gamer. She's upstairs playing it right now. Or she's upstairs playing, Battlefield 1 right now. She just doesn't like Final Fantasy, so she's sitting here like this. She's like, and every time Libertus came on screen and started opening his fucking suckhole, I was just like, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to be a Final Fantasy fan. I was like, oh god, and I was like, this is the worst. This is the fucking worst shit I've ever like. He talked like he was 7 hours into a snake bite. Like it was the worst shit I've ever heard in my life. It was terrible. The movie was fun, but oh god, like when Diamond Weapon showed up at the beginning, B-Money, I was like, holy fucking shit! Like I loved it, but every time Libertus opened his mouth, I wanted to just like put my foot through the fucking TV screen. I hated him that much. I guess Enrique, you want to go get a beer, so it's my podcast now. Sam, we haven't really heard from you, man. Because I've been talking all over everybody, talking about Final Fantasy. So I want to hand the mic to you and say, as somebody who has not ever played a Final Fantasy game, like I mean, I don't know, like do you even feel the need to grab 15? I mean, do you feel like this might be a good starting point for you?
I do, and the reason is not only because I get what you're saying, right? This is clearly a cultural icon. I understand that Final Fantasy is a very important series in gaming to a lot of people, to many people. I am going to pick it up. Not right now because I'm a little tight for money and I'm really tight for time, but probably sometime in December I will.
You need some cash, man? I could think it out, dude. I'll sponsor some cash. You need it?
No, dude.
I am happy to fund anybody's Final Fantasy havoc.
It's okay, dude. Seriously, really, time is the bigger killer because I wouldn't have a lot of time to sit down and play it right now, anyways. But I am going to.
I mean, the combat in Final Fantasy 15 is far better than The Witcher 3. I mean, I just want to throw that out there. It's really good. It's really.
John, in this instance, I may have to agree with you.
That's my man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just keeping it real.
I guess the biggest thing for me is like I'm not going in with any expectations. You know, for you all, it's like a situation where there's emotional attachment. You know, you were talking about the feels and all that and how, it's Easter eggs. For me, this is something where I'm just kind of going, okay, I've never been into this before. Impress me type situation, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and like, so this is what, so like you mentioned this earlier, Sam, like at the very beginning of the game, they say this is a Final Fantasy for fans and first timers alike. And I think it was you that mentioned. Was it you that mentioned that, Sam, or somebody else might have?
No,
but
it was Bella. I think
it was Bella. Okay, but at the very beginning, it says this is a Final Fantasy for fans and first timers alike. And they make a really good point because there's it's almost like a refresh on the series, considering the battle system and stuff like that. And I feel like it's catered. It's you definitely, and Bella, you tell me if I'm wrong, or Enrique, you too. But I definitely see them trying to cater to more of a Western RPG crowd with the world and the plethora of side quests and hunts. And
absolutely.
But at the same time, there's all those little, aside from all, like, enemies like Malboros and, you can ride a chocobo, like, aside from the obvious Final Fantasy elements, there's little call-outs that I think are literally designed just to put a smile on the longtime fan's face, like mine. Like every now and then after a battle, like when you're done, Prompto will hum the classic victory theme. Like the battle will end, and he'll just go. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. That is the coolest fucking shit. And then Glady was like, that, that's really annoying. And I'm like, that's fucking cool. That is just really, and so like little call-outs like that, I feel like they throw out these great little Easter eggs to Final Fantasy fans, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, they're paying homage to the past. It's great.
And the cool thing is, if you get the special edition, like the Steelbook edition, apparently in there is and it's signed by Tabata and all the members of the dev team, thanking fans for their patience and their support.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. I think one of the other things that that is really important in the game for youth coming in to the franchise is things like how simple they've made it to do things like share Pronto's photos, for example. Yep. It takes me all of about 3 seconds and I've got a photo up on Twitter. So that's something that really appealed to youth coming into it, because we're all
social media.
Like social media is just so important to youth these days, and even to us, but it's a integration into the game that I think it was really important that it stayed there, and they've made it so easy, and little things like that, they'll really appeal to newcomers and to the youth.
Yeah, Sam, I'm actually excited for you to try it.
Me too.
I'm interested to get your perspective on it, considering you're a huge Witcher 3 fan, like myself.
Like all
he
people.
will be converted. Trust me, he will be converted.
I don't know.
Enrique, what else did you have on the docket to talk to tonight? Because I'm going to dip in about 10 or 15 minutes, but I wanted to. There's another topic I wanted to hit on. I'm trying to pull it.
Well, we were going to talk about the PlayStation experience, which is coming out this weekend.
There's going to be something big revealed.
Yes. So there's going to be. So I don't.
It rhymes with the Mast of Us boo.
Yes, and and a certain developer that's a bad dog.
It's a very it's like these guys are brand new. It's an indie dev. They're called Bad Dog or something like that, but they've got this game going on. No, in all seriousness, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this much. Tune into the Game Awards, but also keep your ears open on Friday.
On Friday.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, come on, man.
But keep your be watching the internets on Friday.
Man, dropping little nuggets.
That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I can say. But keep your eyes and ears open this coming Friday. There's some interesting things. Anyway, yeah. So we are actually going to be streaming the PSX on SDGC, and from what I've heard, because last year it fucking put me to sleep. I was like, well, this is a worse.
It was a little bit of last year,
but this year, this year they are really going to spice it up. You got Marvel vs. Capcom 4, which I think is.
Yes,
confirmed.
I can't wait.
Is this going to be exclusive? Because rumors that it's going to be exclusive.
I fucking hope not.
It's not going to be exclusive. There's no way.
After
It
Street
would be
Fighter
a stupid
5,
move.
no.
I don't ever support third-party exclusivity in any situation at all. So,
and what about the rumor that there are no X-Men in it?
Yeah.
What was that?
And what about the rumor that there are no X-Men in it? That's trash.
I've heard that's
not
true.
That's pretty much confirmed.
Okay.
Yeah, because
No,
because
That's trash.
well,
you have Wolverine. Come on.
no, and the thing is like I'm really disappointed.
Spider-Man.
Wolverine, get the fuck out of here. But Wolverine was one of my mains.
Yeah, you can knock that shit off right now, Enrique.
Yeah, just
Spider-Man is not- let me tell you something.
Enrique,
Let me tell you something.
No.
Wolverine is the superior character of all in the Marvel universe.
You're fucking full of shit, dude. Like I don't even know how
He
to.
is. He's superior in every single way.
You're trolling right now.
The only person that could kill Wolverine was Galactus. Galactus was like the most powerful.
This is the worst fucking episode of any podcast I've ever been on.
Oh, come on.
This is garbage.
Now you sound like some people in some other podcasts saying some ridiculous things.
I can't believe I'm on here with all these fucking neutrals. Fucking
Anyway.
rack
I'm
'em up.
neutral when it comes to comics today, by the way.
Hey, rack that shit up, motherfucker! I'm gonna break some pony legs. But no. In all seriousness, I have heard that it's true that there will be no X-Men, and the reason being is that it's just Marvel once again kind of twisting the knife on Fox, because Fox owns the rights to the X-Men movie franchise, and they have been. It's the same reason. Like, I'm a big comic guy, and they've been marginalizing the X-Men in comics for years because Fox will not give up the rights. Yeah.
Didn't they just kill them off like a little bit ago? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, they are putting a far bigger focus on the Inhumans than they are the X-Men at this point, just to rub it in Fox's. And for no other reason than to just say "fuck you" to Fox Studios. And so you expect to see characters like Ant-Man and Groot and Star-Lord because they're all in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sorry, but I'd rather play that's garbage because I'd rather play as Wolverine than fucking Whiplash.
Oh hell yeah!
Or fucking Malekith. I'm like, nobody gives a shit about Malekith the Accursed. Like, I'm a comic book fan. Yeah, like nobody gives a shit, right? Like, who the fuck wants to? Like, okay, admittedly, playing a Star-Lord would be pretty cool, but nobody wants to fucking play as Yellow Jacket. I'm like, who gives a shit? Like, Groot would be a cool character, but I want fucking. It's not. Yeah, and apparently there's gonna be no Doctor. There's not going to be any Fantastic Four or Doctor Doom either.
What?
Yeah. That's more trash.
They're Fox
property.
Yeah.
Fox needs to just give up because those are the worst Marvel movies.
But you know what else that means? That means no Silver Surfer, no Galactus.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yeah, like Nell said, no Deadpool either.
No Deadpool. These are Fox properties.
Oh my gosh! Although Deadpool is actually pretty good.
Deadpool was the most amazing thing about Marvel because he would, like, one of his special attacks in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, he would grab his fucking life bar and beat you with it. Like, awesome. I was like, this is fucking outstanding. But don't expect to see any character that is owned by Fox, and that is all the X-Men, that includes Deadpool and Cable, that includes the Fantastic Four and their villain stable like Doctor Doom. Don't expect to see any of them in Marvel vs. Capcom 4. If it is owned by Fox Studios, they will not show up in the game. This
game is trash.
No, like John said, it's probably going to be very Marvel Cinematic Universe heavy.
Yeah, and I think the backlash is going to be epic.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I think it is the wrong fucking move. And it is. And so what happens when you cut out those characters? You get, like I said, you get second-tier characters or third-tier characters like Whiplash. Nobody gives a shit about Whiplash. Nobody gives a shit about Malekith. Nobody wants to play as the Collector.
Crossbones.
Crossbones. Nobody wants to play as Crossbones. Nobody wants to play as fucking. Although I will say that Batroc would be kind of cool in a fighting game because he's. Just give him his movie costume. Don't give him that stupid fucking pink costume he wears with the long handlebar mustache. Don't do that.
No, they're gonna give him the pink costume.
But yeah, they probably will. But I don't know what to think about that. And I really, really hope it's not fucking exclusive because that would be bullshit.
Yeah, you're saying that it's not exclusive, right? Because I heard it was, but obviously that's rumor. But
no, it's not going to be exclusive.
I heard a rumor that it might be a timed exclusive.
Yeah,
which I still don't like. I don't like it.
No,
I don't like it. All third party exclusivity or timed exclusivity does is just give fanboys on the other side more fucking ammo to stuff in their cannons. Like, that's all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand why Sony's trying to do that because they want to pretty much take over Evo and have pretty much every fighting game known as a PlayStation property because they're doing the same thing with Tekken, even though it's
King of Fighters was exclusive too, right?
Yeah. Sony needs to fucking cut that shit out. They did the same thing when they tried to trademark the term "Let's Play," and it's like, well, this isn't what we're trying. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, come on. Like, you're trying to. Of course, this is what you're trying to do. You're trying to trademark the fucking term "Let's Play" so you can have proprietary ownership over any video that has "Let's Play" attached to it. We're not fucking stupid, and it's bullshit.
Yeah,
it's bullshit.
It's like copywriting "Happy Birthday."
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Right now, some fucking asshole was like, he's criticizing Sony. It's the first time ever.
No, or someone's attacking you on Twitter right now.
No, they are. I actually am getting attacked on Twitter, by the way. That's a whole other story.
Oh, Jesus.
Just another day in the life.
Yeah.
But,
so, John, you guys are going to stream the conference, right? The press conference on Saturday, right?
Yes, we are. We're going to stream. We're actually going to be streaming the Game Awards tomorrow night, and I hope my brat brothers are welcome to join us tomorrow night.
Ooh, you know what? I will be on tomorrow.
I will take you up on that.
Actually, you know what? No, Final Fantasy 15 probably.
No, dude, come on. You gotta get on the Game Awards with us, man.
You know what?
It's our Oscars. Come on.
Let me ask you: Is JT going to be on? John, you bought that. What happened?
I'm going to be. I think so. I know. I'm going to be on. Brandon's going to be on. Steve's going to be on.
By the way, Steve is like fucking super smart.
Steve makes everybody look stupid.
He just drops knowledge bombs. I'm like, whoa.
Jeff is going to be on. All my brat brothers are encouraged to join us on our live stream of the Game Awards tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get
what's that going again?
We're going live 15 minutes prior to give some predictions, and then it starts at 8:30 Eastern time.
Ooh, I won't be able to hop on until about 9 o'clock.
That's fine. Join us. Sam, B-Money, Eric, Bella, you guys down?
Yep.
I'm down. Yeah. I'll join.
Yeah, join us, please. And we'll
bring the Steel Reserve.
It'll be SDGCX. It'll be SDGCX Brat. We'll have a melding. We'll have a joining. And we'll make sweet video game love on the air to each other.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
There we go.
But that's right. I said it. I said it. It'll be like a Geralt cutscene.
It's called my Rumble.
But, I'll bring the stuffed unicorn.
You like that? It's my A button.
But like, do you guys have any predictions for what's going to happen tomorrow?
I'm sorry. I'm just.
No. I'm trying to cut you off because you're getting creepy. Do you guys have any predictions for what's going to happen tomorrow night?
Well, apparently Kojima's going to be there.
Of course, Kojima's going to be there.
He's going to big award.
He's going to talk about what kind of.
He's getting his award from last year, right?
What kind of engine we're going to be playing Death Stranding on in 2023?
Yeah,
I can't wait.
He's going to be on stage with Norman Reedus.
Although that game's gonna be at the PlayStation Experience. There's gonna be a panel or something like that for that game.
I will be fucking stunned if that game's coming out next year.
I don't think it's going to.
No, of course
there's not. There's no way.
But there's going to be a Death Standing panel at PlayStation Experience. So
I think you're going to see some God of War at Game Awards or PlayStation Experience. I know you're going to see some fungus zombies.
Mass Effect.
If you catch my
Mass Effect.
Did you say? Wait, did you say fungus zombies?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what those are.
No, I know what that is. I know what that is.
And full disclosure, I think that's where they're going to end PSX on. They're going to say we have one more announcement, and they're going to end on that.
You know that's a fucking huge mic drop.
Oh yeah, no, dude, you can't get bigger than that. You can't. No. You can't. And when it happens, the internet will go fucking bonkers.
But I thought Sony was broke.
Did they say whether or not?
They spent all their money on the media.
Did they give a release date on when the single player DLC will be available for Uncharted?
No, but I guarantee you'll see it. I guarantee you see the PSX. That'll be a huge thing at PSX. And from what I've heard, it's going to focus on Sam and Sully, which is A-OK in my book.
Yeah, that's
Sunset Overdrive 2 announcement. Lock it in.
PlayStation exclusive. Can you imagine the fucking storm?
Can you imagine the meltdown on the internet?
Oh my god.
That would what a fucking shit show that would be.
You would hear like the collective. You would hear the collective growl around the world, just like.
It sound like fucking DMX. That's how loud that growl would be.
Let me ask you guys a question. In regards to the Game Awards tomorrow, what do you think is going to take home Game of the Year?
Inside.
It's real tricky.
Inside.
I think it's between Inside or Overwatch.
The critical love for Naughty Dog is strong. It's
really,
really
strong. Sam's got. I think it's going to be Inside or Uncharted 4.
Even though, and look, Uncharted 4 is a great game. I'm not I'm not trying to imply anything here, but even though I don't think it should win Game of the Year, it probably will.
I think, I would be happy either way because Uncharted 4 wrapped the series up in such a poignant, beautiful way.
Oh, the ending was brilliant.
I get that.
The ending was brilliant.
You know what? I think it'll be Uncharted 4 because it's the last one. That's what I think.
It might be the last one with Nathan Drake.
It'll be the last Uncharted. I don't think they're gonna.
I don't know. I think the next big thing, the two next big things for Sony are going to be The Last of Us, which will replace Uncharted as like Naughty Dog's kind of big go-to franchise, and then Horizon. They're going to be pushing Horizon and The Last of Us after Uncharted. It's time to put Uncharted to rest, and it's the right time to do it. And I think that I would be fine either side or Uncharted 4. It's not going to be Overwatch. I don't think. I believe in my heart of hearts it's not going to be Overwatch. I love Overwatch, but I don't think they're going to give it to a multiplayer only game. I don't see them doing that.
Yeah,
Without-
it's Uncharted, but I'm locking in on Inside.
Yeah, I'm going to
Sorry,
go
Bill.
with Inside. I just,
Go Bills. Sorry.
No, that's totally fine. As I say, without spoiling the end of Uncharted 4 for anybody who hasn't gotten to the end of it yet, you see the introduction of a new person. Those who've played through the end of it, you know which little person I'm speaking of.
That's
and
why
that's why I think that the Uncharted franchise will continue. It may be labeled as something else. They may change the name, but I think we'll potentially see that come
John,
back.
I don't see it being this console generation, but I could see it coming back in like
I don't.
console gen.
I don't. And you know what? I'm gonna spoilers inbound if you haven't beaten Uncharted 4, but I mean the game came out fucking in March, so I mean there's a fucking there's an expiration date on spoilers in my opinion. It's like saying, spoiler alert, Aerith is dead. I actually said that to somebody last year, like Aerith dies in Final Fantasy VII. They're like, dude, spoilers, and I'm like, the fucking game came out in 1997. You fucking serious? Like if you know what the internet is, like my mom knows what Eris died, and she has no fucking idea what Final Fantasy is.
Oh shit!
But no, so mild spoilers. I don't believe you're going to see that happen because people would instantly make the Tomb Raider comparison.
Oh, absolutely,
And-
she would be the next Lara Croft.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to see that happen. I just don't. I think Naughty Dog is going to step away from the Uncharted franchise, and they're going to throw everything back in The Last of Us. And no, I think we're done. I mean, lock it in. I think we're done. I think we're done with Uncharted, and I think we need to be. I would love to see Naughty Dog try something else, like maybe like a role-playing game.
That'd be interesting. Something
Yeah.
open world.
We have to remember, man, Naughty Dog goes in stages. So
Well, I have another prediction.
Oh, let's hear it.
There will not be a Halo 6. It's going to be a game, something like a buddy comedy type or buddy game type. It's going to be Lock and Buck.
You said Halo 6.
Yeah, but there's going to be a Halo 6.
I can straight up tell you there's definitely a Halo 6 story in development.
There's definitely Halo 6.
It was a fucking joke.
Oh,
dude. I was like, wait,
You gotta work on your delivery, man.
yeah. I was like,
Well, people weren't stepping on the joke before I could actually get it out.
South Beach Loud. What's going on over
You
there,
were
man?
talking that because you were talking that crazy shit, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna be disappointed as hell when it's all Lock and Buck.
I mean, I don't even own an Xbox, so I can care less. But I haven't even played Halo 2.
John, we gotta get you an Xbox, man.
I'll probably pick up a Scorpio if the price is right.
Do it.
But it's one of those things where like I actually had an Xbox One. I picked up the Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider bundle, Rise of the Tomb Raider bundle, and I played Sunset Overdrive, which is a fun game. And then I sold it because like I game a lot, but I was thinking about it. I was like I bought this Xbox for like what, 2 games? Like I'll buy Gears of War, and I'll buy whatever other exclusive I'll be interested in. But all my multiplats are going to be PlayStation because I'm invested in that ecosystem now. Like I've got thousands of trophies. I've got so many trophies, and but like it has nothing to do with I hate Xbox. It's just I sold it because I was like, I've got this thing sitting here. I'll play 2 games on it a year. all my multiplats are gonna be Sony because that's my ecosystem. I put all my time and energy into it. That's where I was like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking sell. There's nothing against Xbox. I might pick up a Scorpio. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows? I would love that fucking controller though, because the Elite controller is the best controller I've ever held in my hands. Ever.
The Elite controller is a piece of beauty. It's amazing.
I can't wait until mine comes in.
It is disgusting how beautiful and comfortable that controller is to hold.
Yeah.
Yep. And it just makes gaming so much easier as well. Like when you realize after using it for a while just how much of a difference it makes not having to move your right thumb off the analog to use those buttons, that you can just keep using both analog sticks and be using those input buttons underneath without moving anything off the controller. Like, it's a massive advantage.
Yeah, like I picked up the Elite controller for the first time, and I legit get aroused. I was like,
Where's Road?
Where's Jennifer? But no, it was.
I love Yenny. I love Yenny.
I picked up that Elite controller. I was like, "Where's my stuffed unicorn at?"
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about people making copycat comparisons. Sony should do one of some sort.
Yeah,
I think they should.
Hey, John, real quick. Speaking of the Game Awards, I want to ask you something real quick. Best art direction. Who do you think wins? Abzu, Firewatch, Inside, Overwatch, Uncharted.
Well, if there's any justice in the world, it's either Inside or Firewatch.
Really? What about Abzu? Man, Abzu look great.
Dude, I'm a sucker for that Ollie Moss art.
I'd have to go with Abzu. Well, yeah. I'd go with Abzu or Firewatch.
I don't think it's going to be Abzu. I think it's going to be Inside or Overwatch, and I'm going to give it to... Or, I'm sorry, Overwatch, Jesus, Firewatch. I think it's going to be Firewatch, personally.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think it's going to be Firewatch, because that was just... I mean, I love Ollie Moss, and so maybe I'm a little biased in that regard, but I hope it's Firewatch, because that was a beautiful fucking game to play.
Yeah. All right, what about best RPG, guys? We have Dark Souls 3, PSX,
Dark Souls 3.
Witcher 3, World of Warcraft, Chronicles.
Dark Souls 3.
If it's Justice, Dark Souls 3 should win it, but I'm not going to lie. I would love it to be Blood and Wine, simply because I would get to hear John screaming and cursing at everybody and everything. And that alone, even though Dark Souls 3 should win, that alone would make it worth it not winning.
That's cool that you think that. That's really cool. It's really cute, too, that you would want that. Thanks, Sam. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Sam wants you to suffer.
You make it too easy, dude.
Sam, I brought you on this podcast, man. You betray me like this. You fucking you treat me like this, man. Sam, you are where you are today because I made you, Sam. I made you, Sam. I have your podcasting career right here, Sam, and I fucking created it. I can end it just that quickly. Enrique, get him off the podcast. You're done, Sam. You're never podcasting in this town again, motherfucker. You're done. But in all seriousness, is Blood and Wine nominated?
It is nominated.
It is actually. Because
is that
another game?
I heard it's phenomenal. I haven't played it yet.
That is unprecedented, right? For DLC to be nominated for. Like,
I guess when a DLC takes 40 hours and has a storyline that everyone agrees is even better than the other storylines that were already phenomenal in the main game, you can just kind of get away with it.
Yeah, I haven't played Blood and Wine, but you know, I did a special podcast with Al on Friday. And Al was just like, before we went on, he's like, I can't believe you haven't played this, Enrique. He's like, it's fucking amazing.
It is.
Yeah, and everyone I've talked to who's played it said the same thing, that it's actually better than The Witcher 3.
I want to make a pledge. After I'm done with my 3 playthroughs of Final Fantasy 15, I will go back and I will give The Witcher another shot.
Do it.
I'll give it another shot. I made it a little bit of Kiera Morin before I was like, I don't fucking care. But I was like, this game sucks. The fucking combat is terrible. Geralt runs like he's halfway through a fucking stroke. I was like, I can't fucking... Dude, I'm sorry, but even Witcher 3 diehards...
He doesn't run that bad.
If I were to go outside, I ran 3.5 miles a day.
Yeah.
If I were to go outside right now and put on my running shoes and run the way Geralt does, somebody would call either the police or an ambulance because they would say we have a deranged, partially partially mentally disabled man.
Somebody escaped from the asylum.
Somebody escaped from Bellevue. And
Somebody left
he's
Arkham.
running down the street, and we think he has to use the bathroom. Like that's how Geralt runs. Geralt runs like he's always rushing for the bathroom. He's like, oh shit. He's like, I gotta go.
Where's?
He's like
Where's
5 more
Roach?
minutes. He's like 5 more minutes. I'm gonna shit my pants. I gotta find a fucking John.
Where's
Like,
Jennifer?
Can you imagine if you did your grocery shopping like Geralt? He's running around the grocery store.
Yeah, like it's the only and like the thing about Geralt is that like, well, the thing about The Witcher 3 is not only does Geralt run like he just had prison sex, but whenever you hop on Roach, like I swear to God, whenever Roach shows up, Roach has been knee deep in a pile of cocaine because trying to control that motherfucker, I would hop on Roach and he would instantly go sailing off a fucking ravine, and I'm like, Roach, why, Roach? Like,
Roach, I will agree with you. Everything else would be you're letting hyperbole flow, but Roach
no, it's not hyperbole, Sam.
Roach is doing blow.
I feel like
it is.
I feel like it was CD Projekt Red trolling you with Roach because you would hop on Roach and you would have that path, that breadcrumbs on your mini map leading you somewhere. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, Roach would be like, fuck this, I'm going this way. And I'm like, Roach, what are you doing? Like, Roach, where are you going? And then he would jump off a fucking cliff, and then I'd get killed by drowners. I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. And then I'd have to fight the drowners with that shitty combat. And I was like, no, thank you, I'm done. So I got to Kaer Morhen, and he banged Triss again for like the 10th time, and I was like, I don't care. I just don't care.
Geralt is a repeat offender. That is true.
Geralt, like, although I will say, like, it does have my favorite. The Witcher 3 does have my favorite dialogue option ever. After you're like done banging Kira Metz, and one of the options is, "I can't believe we fucked," and I'm like, "That's okay. That's good. I like that." Okay.
And then he says. And then after that, he says, "Where's Roach?"
Where's Roach? but yeah,
John. Speaking of sex scene, best sex scene was what's it called? Wolfenstein New Order.
No. I'd say
remember
the
that?
best. Yeah, no, I do remember that, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
I wasn't expecting. I was like, "What?"
But and the funny thing is, the first time I ever played it, my wife walked in just as that was happening, and I was like, "It's not a porno, I swear." Stay for 5 seconds. I'm telling you, it's not a porno. But no, actually, the best sex scene in any game ever was the look on my face when I first played Final Fantasy 15. That is the best sex scene in any game ever. Boom, mic drop. And with that, I'm gonna go play some motherfucking Final Fantasy 15. It's time. Besides, I think I have talked more on this podcast than I have any other podcast ever.
You know what, though, John? We missed you. We miss having you on, man. That's why.
Yeah, I was getting it all out. I was. It's all that.
Dude, it's been like it's been fucking 2 weeks, man.
All that brat buildup.
Yeah,
so you guys enjoy the rest of your podcast. Witcher 3 Combat Sucks, and I want to real quick plug. Sam, I'm just kidding, man. You can calm down. I'm just kidding. But Sam's in his computer right now, like chewing on his knuckles. He's like, I hate this motherfucker. I love you, buddy.
I should have never thrown in with negative.
I should have never fucking. What was that, Sam?
I said I baited you first this time. So
You really did, and I took it. No, I know it was a great bait, Nate. I took it. So tomorrow we're actually doing a double feature this week. Tomorrow we are going to be streaming the Game Awards, and Sam's going to be there. It sounds like Eric is going to be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
B Money, what about you?
I'm coming through, man.
All right, so Eric Beam and Enrique is like, no, I got better things to do. Sorry.
No, I'll be there. I'll be there at 9 o'clock. I'll be there late at 9 o'clock.
Okay, and Bella, are you going to be with us tomorrow night, or do you have things to do?
Oh, sure. I'd be honored to join you.
This is gonna be a big. We got like 12 people in this fucking.
Hang out, just gonna like explode.
I'm bringing
out
a 40, man.
And then on Friday we are going to be having a special edition of Superform Gamescast where we will be talking about our thoughts on Final Fantasy 15 because we got a lot of Final Fantasy fans, longtime fans on the podcast.
Awesome.
We'll be doing that, and then Saturday we'll be streaming PSX.
Sweet.
So join us for that. And I also want to give a shout out to our oldest fan, one of our oldest fans on the show. He's been watching us since the beginning, Daniel Wisenhunt, who in a few weeks is going to be going to the hospital for a bone marrow transplant.
Oh man,
it's a big deal. He'll be hospitalized for several months. He'll be in the hospital. Dan, you're in our thoughts, and Dan is going to be. We're going to bring him on the podcast right before he goes in to kind of wish him well. And we've also got a surprise coming for Dan. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's something from us to you to kind of help you cope. So yeah. Anyway, look forward to that. Please give your thoughts and prayers to Dan Wisenhunt as he enters a very difficult portion of his life.
absolutely.
And with that, I'm going to take off. So peace out, guys.
All right, John.
See you tomorrow.
See you.
Bye bye.
See you later.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
Okay, Enrique, I have one more for you.
What's up, man?
Thought about Geralt in the grocery store looking like a weirdo. What if you were like in a street fight and you started pulling out like Dark Souls type moves?
Yeah, that might be interesting.
You're like rolling around.
No, I saw a YouTube video of that. Actually, I saw a YouTube video of that. Someone did that. Someone someone actually did that in real life. They dressed up as Geralt. They were cosplaying.
That would be crazy though. Like you're just sitting there, like strafing left and right, rolling.
That was some funny shit. Hey, you know what, guys? Real quick. So last year, Splatoon won like Shooter of the Year, right?
Yeah,
I'm looking at best RPG. What if Xenoblade Chronicles won?
That'll be some nonsense.
Could happen.
That'll be nonsense.
But it could happen.
They tend to like to throw Nintendo a bone because Bella and I were like, we were like writing and watching it and writing at the same time, and both of us were like, what?
Yeah.
Reggie went up there smiling. He was like, "Yeah, I got this." He knew.
Yeah, it was one of those things we were both like just sitting there looking at the TV, giving it the side eye, you know. What?
Like, wait, I like Splatoon. It's fun, but I was still like, Splatoon on a platform where,
I was convinced it was going to be like Halo or maybe Call of Duty or something.
Right. Yeah.
Or Halo.
Or Halo,
yeah.
But you know what? I mean, based on last year, maybe Xenoblade Chronicles gets it, man. It's Monolith. They make good games.
I'm all for some bullshit. Pull the
I hear
shenanigans.
Knack's making a return.
Who's making a return?
Knack.
That's what we're going to close the show with.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Knack, let me tell you, Knack was pretty bad. The first game was pretty bad. I could do without a Knack too.
Pretty bad? Just pretty bad.
It was really fucking bad, Sam. I mean, I played. I was like, this shit's garbage. Not good. I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. Let's see. I'm looking at the other nominees. Best strategy game: Civilization 6. Anyone play that? I haven't played it.
It'll go to
That's all I
Civilization 6,
played, man.
even though it should go to Total War Warhammer.
Ooh, I love Warhammer. I haven't played it though. Or
It's
actually,
great.
Banner Saga 2's up. I haven't played Banner Saga 2 yet. Have any of you guys played it? Anyone?
No.
No, I played the first one. I haven't played the second.
How was the first one? I haven't played the first one, P-Money.
First one was pretty good.
Yeah.
Classic strategy game.
It's
It's got great art style.
No, it does.
Best sports racing. Forza Horizon 3 is probably going to run away with that one, right?
Hands down.
What about
Hands down.
NBA Live?
No. Get the fuck out of here.
Nothing else stands a chance.
B-Money, what about NBA Live, man?
What about it?
I know that.
Sorry.
I don't know nothing about NBA Live, but 2K should definitely win that award, man.
There's only one person.
I got to be honest with you. If Forza Horizon 3 doesn't get it, it's fucking robbery.
It is.
The game's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It is.
It's in the sports category again.
It's in the sports/racing category.
Yeah,
They throw them all together.
They did that last year with like the whole Rocket League thing too, and I'm like those categories don't need to be,
No,
They need
it's
to be
trash.
separate.
There should have been two categories because there was enough racing games for there to be an all category, and Forza could have took that award. And
It's
like, let's mix FPS with RPGs and just do an award out of that pool. No, it doesn't work like that. Sports games and racing games, two different things.
Yeah, the best sports game this year was 2K, hands down. If you look at traditional sports games, whether it be, European football, Madden, basketball games, hockey games, 2K was the best sports game total, and it definitely deserves the
I don't
award.
know. I have to disagree with you on that. I reckon the best sports game out this year is Rigs.
What?
Yeah, you played it?
Yeah, I demoed it, but really?
Yeah.
Bella, we're going to have to disagree. Agree to disagree on that one.
That's fine. I barely ever agree with you anyway.
So
Bella, I'm used to that being. Never mind. I'm not going to say that.
Best
Being a
multiplayer.
Hispanic?
Yes, I was. Yeah,
Okay, best multiplayer game, everybody. Best multiplayer game. We got Battlefield 1, Gears 4, Overcooked, Overwatch, Rainbow Six Siege, and Titanfall 2.
Hold on, wait. Time out, real quick. I want to go back to the sports stuff because we were talking about NBA 2K17 visual concepts, and I just want to say I miss NFL 2K.
Yeah, Madden.
That was
Madden has been, to me personally, Madden. I haven't rocked
Madden
out on
sucks.
Madden hardcore in like 5 or 6 years.
No, 2K was the pinnacle of football on gaming and on a gaming
Well, competition is good. I mean, I know EA hasn't given competition where basketball is concerned. Like they kind of threw their hat like in the ring for a second and got bodied, you know. But
got body big time.
But Madden has been, in my opinion, trash, and I really wish they took a hit. I wish they took kind of a hit like COD did this year.
Yeah,
You know, because I'm over it. I'm like, it's the same garbage like every year. And I wish I understood soccer a little bit more because I always like admire FIFA, but I just don't know. I'm not that into soccer where like I want to go pick it up. But that game always looks great, and those fans are loyal and legion. You know, when it comes to that.
Ole.
Yeah.
Ole. All right, let's go to best multiplayer. Sorry, Sam. Go ahead,
That's
man.
okay. Battlefield.
Overcooked gonna win.
Oh,
Gears 4.
it should go to Gears 4 since Gears 4 isn't up for Game of the Year.
it's gonna go to Overwatch.
But Sam, you know how these things go.
It's
Man.
gonna go
You know
Overwatch,
it's going to go to Overwatch, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you know how these things go.
It's gonna go to Overwatch. Although I could make a case. Yeah, Gears of War 4 should I would pick Gears of War 4. That's me personally.
If Gears doesn't get at least one single category where they win it, I'm done.
It's media bias. If it doesn't win,
Don't say that because honestly, I'm almost tempted to believe it if it doesn't get a single award. Don't say that, dude.
No, you can't believe Sam. You can't believe that it's media bias if it doesn't get an award. I mean, look at the
It's media weirdness.
It's media weird. There you go.
It is very weird.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if it doesn't win, I mean, here's the thing. Look at all the games that released this year. I mean, this year has been.
Do you want to finish what you're eating first, or
What's that?
you want to finish what you're eating?
I'm not eating anything.
You sound like a mouthful of something that I'm like, oh God, I'm sorry. Are we keeping you?
No. No, I mean, I'm eating tacos.
Are you serious, man?
Of course he is. He's an Hispanic.
Oh, Bella, you can't say that.
Come on, move on.
I can and did. Didn't you all vote in Trump? Apparently that's shit. Okay.
No, we're not getting political. We're moving on. Where was I, Mike? See, now, Bella, now I forgot what I was going to say.
Multiplayer.
I'm saying, but you know what I'm
bias.
saying? If you look at all the games this year, I think we can all agree upon this, that this year has been a fucking amazing year for video games.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, Gears of War 4, great game. But look at the competition too. I mean, Overwatch, a great multiplayer game. Titanfall 2, great multiplayer. Battlefield 1, great multiplayer. I haven't played Overcooked. I haven't played that, so I can't comment on it. Tom Clancy, I was really surprised by Rainbow Six Siege.
Rainbow Six is probably the most underrated game.
It is
in that category, and it's probably right up there with the top games.
B Money, I couldn't agree with you more. It is so underrated. That game caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting Rainbow Six to be anything this year, to be good, because Rainbow Six, to me at least, hasn't been good since OG Xbox. But that's another story. But yeah, I mean, you look at all the categories though, and all the games are in these different categories. I mean, we look at best family game. You have Dragon Quest Builders, Lego Star Wars, Pokemon, Ratchet and Clank, Skylanders. We looked at best strategy game. I mean, every like genre, every nomination or category is just stacked with so many good games. I mean, you look at best action adventure game. Dishonored 2 Hitman, Hyper Light Drifter, Ratchet and Clank, Uncharted 4. I mean, this year, it's funny. Like B-Money, I know we've talked about this earlier in the year. We talked about like the year of the remasters because there were a lot of remasters.
Right.
At the same time, though, there was a lot of fucking great games that came out. I mean, just this week alone, within the last 4 days, I picked up Dishonored 2, which is I'm loving, by the way, and Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah,
me too.
And this year's not even done yet. And you look at all this stuff that came out the last month and a half: Watch Dogs 2, Gears of War 4. What else? Titanfall 2, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those two games alone that you just said, like Final Fantasy 15 and Dishonored 2, are two reasons why the Game Awards are absolute bollocks. Like, how can two games like that come out in the years that the awards are in and not be counted as being eligible to be nominated because they came out after the nominations begin, because they do that shit so early in the year, and then they can't be included next year because obviously they released in 2016, not 2017. They get no accolades at all.
Yeah, didn't Tomb Raider get screwed like that too?
Yeah, it did.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And then you have most anticipated games for next year. You have God of War. You know what's funny though?
Not coming out next year.
I was going to say that. Damn, you beat me to the punchline. I was going to say most anticipated game. Like God of War. Sony's history and first parties. I don't know.
Last Guardian being pushed back to 2017. That's my most anticipated game for next year.
Oh, Bella, that's
So
savage.
you say even though this turned a while, it's still going to be delayed.
They're going to be sitting around a table having a couple of margaritas or something one after you. Then they'll be like, "Hey, you know what would be really, really funny? Why don't we just push it back again?" Like,
Everybody's opening empty cases right now. Like, fooled you. So,
Hey, Eric, I just want to say Sony's broke.
yeah, they are. They broke.
They got no money.
They got no money.
Got nothing, son.
No, yeah,
They rely on that camera. Rely on that camera money.
Never mind, they're sponsoring one of the biggest college football bowls, but
or that they can spend $50 million just on early access DLC for Call of Duty alone.
they're broke, Bella. They got no money.
Yeah. I wonder how they're feeling about that right now.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, we sunk $50 million into this. Damn, who would want us to do that? Fine, out now. Pack the shit, get out."
Now, I want to say, like, based on what you were just saying, Bella, and you look at the Game of the Year categories, as fun as Titanfall 2 is, do you think it deserves to be there? And should they just, I mean, that whole mix-up just seems a little odd.
Yeah. I think that in its own right, with what they've done with the campaign and the new system that they've put in place for combat, it does deserve to be up there in the top games of the year, but I don't. Titanfall, were we not?
Yeah, Titanfall 2.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about
He took a bite. He took a bite of
Mate,
taco.
you're the host. Keep up.
Yeah, you know what?
So,
Here's what happened. I'm eating this delicious taco.
all right, well, you eat your taco and drink your Corona. We'll get back to talking about games.
Why's it got to be Corona?
Because you're Hispanic.
Move on.
By the way, you know what? This reminds me a lot of our party chats on Xbox Live.
And just for anybody who thinks that I actually be serious, I don't have a racist bone in my body. This is just an ongoing joke because, the whole Trump thing and build a wall with Mexico. And anyway, moving on. I do think that it does deserve to be up there for consideration for being one of maybe the top 10 games of the year. Does it have a right to be in contention for actual game of the year, considering the other games that are out that aren't even getting a look in? I don't know. It's hard to gauge because we can only gauge what we think should be game of the year by our own experiences with the game. And obviously, everybody's going to have a different experience. There's no two people that are going to sit down and play a game and have the exact same experience and the exact same opinions coming out of it. So, whereas we might not be able to see why some of those games are up there, other people would be like, yeah, this is the best game I've played in years. And there'll be people that'll be like, what the hell is this little indie inside doing up here? Get that trash out of there. They haven't played it. If they go and play it, they'll realize that it is one of the most amazingly story-driven games that you can play without any dialogue whatsoever, that really it hits you hard in the heartstrings, you know, and it leaves you contemplating everything that you just saw for days afterwards.
Right.
It made me contemplate
and
life.
Like that taco.
Jesus.
I kind of think, like, again, we don't really know all their criteria, which I think they really should start. If they really want to be taken like a little more serious as a real, like, as a game award, because it's kind of hard to take them serious.
Hey, Eric, real quick.
Eric,
real quick, man. I got to ask you a question because you're saying you like taking them serious and stuff. But do you think the Game Awards is more about, you know, recognizing games in the industry, or is it more about promoting Jeff Keighley?
Well, I mean, it's Jeff's show.
Like, is he trying to be like the Dick Clark of video games?
I don't know, because he takes some hits, man. I don't know. So, I mean...
And it is a very prestigious event, you know? Like, there's a lot of weight to be put into it for gamers who don't really know what to pick up next, what to play, what got voted last year as being amongst the top games. You know, let's have a look at the nominations. It is a really good way for people to use that as a guide, but unfortunately, there is too much commercialism in it. There is too much politics that goes on behind the scenes. There are too many personal and business agendas at play for anybody to really be able to take it as being a genuine thing. And if it was an actual genuine games award where they literally did break down everything to a point where they were actually able to definitively say that, yes, this was this game of the year, then there would be some sort of chart, some sort of spreadsheet, some sort of dot point list, something that they would release every year to go, right, this is exactly how we break down an indie. This is exactly how we break down a AAA. Right. This is what we look at for the art style. This is what we look at for the soundtrack. It would be completely transparent. And the fact that it is not even, like, we don't even have any idea what their criteria is speaks volumes.
Right.
But
yeah, and that's
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was gonna like say before, is like, and to kind of answer your question, Enrique, I'll never hate on Jeff Keighley, because I honestly think that he built this out of a love for gaming, and nothing had like ever really been done. Like, well, I know there was the other one that we talked about, but since the '80s, but no one really talks about that one, right? But again, like we were just saying, like Bella was just saying, you need to kind of display your criteria for why these games are being picked, and I think you really need to get some kind of like some part of fan interaction where fans get to kind of vote, because you're sitting in a room with industry people and kind of making it all up, and you're throwing it out there, and some people feel left out, some people feel slighted, and you kind of left with saying, well, whatever is your game of the year, continue to go with that, but you need a better representation.
Yeah, I mean, it's like with the Golden Joystick Awards. You know, they basically they only base theirs on it's all the public voting, the people who've actually played these games that go and vote for the games that they want to be Game of the Year. The thing that is that's probably a very difficult mechanic of getting a very clear process that isn't convoluted by everybody's agendas in arriving at what would be the Game of the Year at the end of the day, is that as industry professionals, the games that are nominated, they then are required to go and play those games, right? They're required to go and experience them so that they can put their votes towards them. As individuals within the gaming community, when you're voting on something that is based on the community's opinion, you can vote on the game that you want, but not have had to play the other games that it's up against. So you are effectively saying, well, game C is better than game A, B, and D, even though I didn't play any of those.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, how can you actually say that that's the game of the year? There's a difference between it being your game of the year from your experiences to the year, to it being overall the game that has been released in that 12-month period of time, which effectively is actually only 10.5 months of the year.
Right. Right.
So I can see why it's very convoluted.
Someone say something, please.
See why it's I
mean, tacos right now.
I mean, you make a good point, though, and the fact that there is such a lack of transparency. I mean, Colin Moriarty from Kind of Funny even pointed out one time when they were talking about what their predictions were going to be. Someone was saying, well, this game, I don't even remember what games they were talking about, but he was saying, this is just going to be a sweep, and Colin said, no. He said, without divulging too much, he said the fact is they do try to do a balancing act, and they will give an award to a game even if they don't think it deserves it because of other circumstances. And that like sets off big red flags in my head immediately, you know?
Yeah.
Well, they have. I mean, that's a tough job though, to create an award show, then try to come up with. I'm playing devil's advocate here. Try to come up with some kind of, something in place where you have something that dictates how you nominate these games, or what the criteria is. But yeah, I kind of agree with you, Sam. Like they should definitely share that with with the public, so we know what the criteria is, because we don't. I'll go back to Splatoon. I was really shocked, and not that Splatoon's a terrible game. I just didn't understand. I didn't get why it was nominated. A lot of people say it was kind of a throw Nintendo a bone, and maybe that was the case. But I don't know. Some transparency would be nice. Chicken Spaghetti in the live chat actually said that, like, with best voice actors, majority of the voice actors that were nominated are all Uncharted 4 voice actors.
Right.
And Firewatch. Firewatch is up there.
But no, Firewatch, yeah.
And on the Splatoon thing, I mean, it was put in with the shooter category. It is a shooter, right? It is something for Nintendo that they had never done. It is a new IP that kind of caught some notice. It's just unfortunate it was on a platform that not a lot of people, when you look at the grand scheme, were involved in. Nothing wrong with that nomination, but when you're going up against something that a majority is playing in and out, it really did feel like a bone was thrown.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the flip side of that is that, all right, so what actually do we expect them to do? Yes, we would like more transparency. Yes, we would like them to know how to go through the process for selecting this. So we're going to ask them to break it down into, say, art direction or graphic fidelity. I mean, will that ever allow for games like this War of Mine to even stand a chance against other indies in that category? Because we're then looking at, well, what's the art direction like? What's the soundtrack like? Like, how do you break down games that are so different and so diverse and still be able to keep them in the same category and genre as each other, and then decide that one of them is better than the other?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough to do. And I think that's why it's kind of set up the way that it is. Everybody kind of gets a turn. Everybody is going to get an award, as a call out. So, I mean, we will never understand it on this side of the table, but I'm sure, they got some sort of plan of how they make it work on their side.
You know what? I'm going to be like, it's like years and years and years down the track, and I'm going to be like sitting on a beach somewhere at the age of 50 and drinking a Corona, because I'll be reminiscing about Enrique. And I'll hear a news report come on the TV that has finally been exposed that the video game awards were actually just names pulled out of a hat. Like,
what if they all got drunk like the night before, like they announced the nominees? Maybe that's how they do it.
They put them up on a dartboard.
Yeah, they just pull names out of a hat.
Yeah,
that's what I
would. Or they play beer pong.
Oh my God, beer pong.
Yeah.
Well,
dear.
Yeah. Well, so Fastback in the live chat, who we had on last week, said that he thinks there should be a combination of industry and fans. I could see that. I think that'd be a good idea.
You kind of need both. You do need the industry input because these people are making these things, but you definitely need the fans who are, taking delivery on these games and actually playing them and actually, having an opinion on it. I don't know how you balance that. I mean, it's a huge undertaking. I don't know if you open it up to a select amount of panel of fans, because I mean, you can't have, I don't know if you can have everyone kind of throwing in votes, but there's got to be like a logistical way that it can be handled.
I mean, when you think about it, we're all online anyway, so you would think that they would be able to build that in to the to the particular game, or be able to send out surveys based on the fact that you actually played that game, or you log a certain amount of hours on that game. So I think there's a way that they can create a system and get some fan voting, or at least some fan experience on it, and then kind of use that with how they build the category.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Now, Enrique has just advised us that he's going to be back in a minute. So let's change the subject matter before he gets back, so he'll have no clue what's going on. So we'll move on to one of the other subject matters that we had up today, which was pack mentality. So I'll probably go last on this one because I have some very strong thoughts about this one. But in regards to pack mentality, what we're referring to there is the way that that actual mentality does affect either gamers and the way that they interact online, how they interact on social media, but also how it also does affect things like, the video game awards and other things that we've been discussing throughout the evening. If you'd like to go first.
I want to formulate my thoughts on this. So I'll open it to whoever someone else wants to jump in.
Hold on, what happened? I'm back. I heard formulating thoughts. I'm like, oh shit, there's a debate.
This is your host, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what? Let me tell you something. Everyone's a host on Brap. It's a big happy family.
We have to be.
Yeah, let me tell you, Brap,
in those shoes 24/7.
Let me tell you something. Brap was the idea behind Brap was to be like kind of a happy hour for gamers. That's what we do. We're hanging out, having a good time.
Yeah.
Tacos and shit.
Tacos. We have Roscoe. We have a little reserve. Yeah. So no. So what happened, Eric? You have to do what?
Oh no, Bella threw out the next topic.
Oh, yeah. See, so I missed that. It's important. So what's the next topic?
We're discussing pack mentality. Why don't you go first, Enrique?
Oh my God! No, I don't want to do that. See, where to begin? Pack mentality in gaming, or fanboys as we call them. I'm gonna push this over to B Money.
No, I've said this. Go ahead, B Money. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Eric. And then
This is fantastic. Like you go, no, I go, no, you go. Like so somebody
because I'm gonna go on this whole.
The pack mentality is a real thing. I've said before. I feel like a lot of times it's like, a bunch of Cobra Kais running around on virtual dirt bikes looking for fights to pick. Or fights to jump into.
Your mommy, Daniel. I'm sorry. I had to quote a scene from Karate Kid.
So it's something that actually for me, like it very much annoys me because a lot of times people jump into these things, they have no clue really what the source or the start of it was. They just glom on and jump in because they want to be a part of this, sad fight of whatever fake fight is going on at the time.
And by the way, Eric, it really very much is a fake fight. If you've had the privilege to talk to people in the gaming industry, people that actually fucking make video games, there's no console wars. You talk to these individuals that make games, they love gaming. I mean, we did the podcast on Super Deformed Gamescast, which goes live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays.
There it is.
Yeah, I had to do it again. Yeah, we had someone on from BioWare, and I think it was Mike Laidlaw, I think, from BioWare, and to listen to him talk about video games, like people don't get it. Like these people and gamers, like gamers in general, are just passionate about gaming. They don't care whether you fucking game on PC Master Race or Nintendo platform or the Xbox or the fucking PlayStation. They don't care. They just care about games. They talk like just talking to him and just listening to his gaming experiences and how passionate he is and the love that he has for gaming. It's just surreal. I mean, it's just it's something that a lot of people miss out on. Bella, we've had Christian on this podcast, Christian Allen, and he's the same way. Loves gaming. Bella, and you yourself and Eric and you and B Money, you guys have had developers on your own podcast, and you guys have sensed that passion, that love that people have. And they have that love because they are truly gamers. To me, they embody what gaming and being a fan is all about. Not this fucking bullshit, arguing over pieces of plastic, fucking making videos about people, calling people neutrals and shit. It's funny. We get called out for being neutrals, and we've actually embraced that because, you know what? This idea that you have to pick a side, no, you don't have to pick a side. You pick
No,
gaming.
you don't.
You pick gaming.
You know
That's
why I
what
don't-
you do at the end of the day. You pick fucking games.
Well, you know why I don't have to pick a side? Because first and foremost, I'm a grown ass man. I buy all my own stuff myself. So the day that you decide to drop some dollars over here and say, I only want here, rock on this. Hey, I'll rock out with you. You're gonna pay for everything. But looking around like my game center and the things that I purchased, I'm looking at my purchases coming from Black Friday. It's a mixed bag of everything, and if that makes me neutral, let's rock out. Because guess who doesn't give a shit? Sony, Microsoft. They're like, thank you for the dollars.
Right.
That's the thing.
That's it.
That's the thing. These companies don't give a shit about you. All they want is your fucking money. That's it. They don't care about you. They just want your money. But at the end of the day, as a consumer, as a gamer, what you do is you support the industry that you love, that you care about, that gives you enjoyment. And this console war stuff, it's so fake. And like the whole pack mentality, this, you got to choose one side or another. And if you don't choose one side or the other, you're neutral. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And, it's funny, like, Phil Spencer on numerous occasions has denounced fanboy behavior. He's denounced certain people that quote unquote, label themselves as the leaders of the Xbox community. And I guess he's a neutral because he loves gaming. The guy's
So he used to work for Sony before he moved to Microsoft. He was actually with Sony.
Yeah, but what does he do? He congratulates Sony when they have a successful release. Because he loves gaming.
Good sportsmanship.
But he loves gaming though. That's the motive. I mean, he's genuine about it because he loves gaming. And that's Bella.
And he's also got a good press advisor.
Yeah. What the Bella see? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's two sides to the pack mentality. Of course, we all know the negative ones, and we've seen it played out. When we see particular games go exclusive, in particular Tomb Raider last year, everybody wigged out, and even from PlayStation side, you saw some people threatening, the voice actors,
it's fucking terrible,
and things like that, and. Same thing happened when Street Fighter, a well-known multi-plat game was exclusive. It went both sides.
Sean Murray.
Sean Murray, what I mean? We've seen it play out basically this entire generation. Even in the last generation, it was a little bit there, but I wasn't on social media as much, so it wasn't as apparent to me. But definitely this generation, it's been crazy. But what I really want to see is just more positive things come out of pack mentality. We really should be championing a lot of these games, a lot of these developers, especially when they put in the work to develop, deliver us great games. I mean, we were just talking about the games that come out in the last couple of months, and shout out to the coalition for putting together a great game with Gears 4. I mean? They put their stamp on it. And
hey, B Money, real quick. Speaking of the coalition, they're actually doing crossplay this weekend.
I love how he likes to jump in halfway through people's stories and say, "Hey, just real quick."
Hey, you know what, Bella? It's the tacos.
It's all good though. But we look at Respawn, and even though that game isn't moving units like a lot of us feel like it should be, we got to applaud them for putting on a great campaign and really delivering, with that multiplayer after, people really criticize it, from the beta. So, we really have to, all the people who aren't, the crazy fanboys, we really start, really need to start championing, the positive things. And if we have to become a pack, then, so be it, what I mean? Because we have to outweigh all the negative stuff that's going on in the community.
Right. Yeah, and you're right, B-Money. And the thing is, when you really break it down, we're kind of in like a microcosm and like sort of like a little bubble of the greater whole gaming community.
Right.
The majority of the gaming community has no idea of this kind of bullshit that's going on this side. We're kind of in it because of by the nature of YouTube and doing what we're doing or whatever. So that's why I find it so funny when a lot of cats like to throw out the term casual. Oh, you're a casual. Hey, asshole. You didn't have casuals. Don't knock the casual because the casual probably plays more games than you. He or she may only play a select few, but they probably rock out on that game longer than in hours, in terms of hours, longer than most things that you play while you're over here talking shit. Because I'm sorry, math doesn't add up. If you're YouTubing 20 plus hours a week, Twittering another 10 hours plus a week, and God forbid you have family, like wife and kids and everything, when are you gaming? For all the barbs that you're throwing at people and the attacks that you're getting, we're supposed to be gamers and gaming, so when are you doing that? Doesn't make you more hardcore because you scream the loudest, or because you rally your stupid little troops.
You know what's funny, Eric, is that you and I have talked about this a lot. There's a time in gaming when gaming started becoming more mainstream, where there was this movement to, at least here in the U.S., there was a movement to censor gaming, and to kind of suppress the artistic expression of gaming. And you know, a lot of people don't have that historic perspective. A lot of people don't have that historic perspective of the gaming industry crashing and dying. Like, I lived that. Like, I lived through the Atari, and there was no fucking Atari after that. There's no gaming because of fucking ET. You know, and so it's, for me, it's kind of like, it's frustrating in a lot of ways, some ways, because like I lived through the infancy of gaming and seeing it fall, and seeing you know, it being the expression of gaming, the artistic expression of gaming being challenged by people who weren't even gamers, you know, to try to take that away from us, you know, and then to go through the loss of Sega and Sega not making game consoles. Like, that shit, like, that hurts. Like, as a gamer, that hurts. For me, it does, at least. You know, and a lot of these people don't have that appreciation. And it's just, and that's why it's just, yeah.
It's a respect thing. That's why you and I talked the other day, you know, about the whole Sean Murray No Man's Sky thing. And we both kind of agreed that radio silence may not have been the best thing, right?
No,
but watching the pack mentality of people jumping on, especially because I found it funny when he tweeted out the other day, he said, I'm going to paraphrase, he kind of said something to the effect of, if you kind of knew what was going on in our lives the last few months, you know, what we're about to release is essentially a labor of love. And hey, almost kind of saying, we're trying to make good on what we said and trying to fix it, right? Mm-hmm. People jumped on him like, oh, here he comes with the pity. He wants self-pity. It is this, and that. And I said, you know what? You know, honestly, as somebody who's a creator, you know, doing graphics, photography, things like that, you have no idea. And this is just me handing it to somebody, you know, like a client, how hard it is to put yourself out there.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, give someone, you know, create something and give it to someone for them to pick apart, either like it, not like it, pick it apart, you know, or whatever, right? Imagine when you have millions of people calling for your head, criticizing you, you know, coming at your company. Mm-hmm. You have no idea how you would handle that. Maybe radio silence was not necessarily, hey, we're running from the responsibility. Maybe it was, let's get our heads down and fix this because we let a lot of people down.
Yeah.
That shit annoyed me. Annoyed me when I saw that. It's like, put yourself out there, asshole. You know? So anyway, that's mine.
Well, you know, Eric, it's always easy for people to judge and critique without knowing. It's always easy to be that backseat driver without knowing what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
It really is. I mean,
imagine you created something that you thought people were going to love, and you kind of got swept up when a big company put you on stage and said, hey, this is going to be the next greatest thing, and you're a small company. And I'm just going off of the Sean Murray thing. This happens with a lot of different things, but you know, you're out there and you're caught up and you're trying to produce something and you think everyone's going to be great with it. And initially they were, and then all of a sudden it all comes crashing down. Again, millions of people screaming on you, coming at you, calling you all kinds of things, threatening you, death threats. And you still showed up.
Yeah, a lot of people don't look at it from that side.
Right. A little radio silence, but he still showed up again.
Yeah,
he did.
With his squad. So come on. You know?
But you know, he was always a little. He was a little. I don't. He doesn't strike me as someone that is, outgoing. I mean,
people came at it like there was malicious intent. I don't ever think there was malicious intent in the creation of No Man's Sky. You know, it was. There's a bigger story there, and I would love to actually hear that whole story one day.
Yeah.
But, and again, I sound like I'm on the defense force for No Man's Sky. I'm just using that as an example of how this pack mentality just festers like cancer throughout the whole community. And yes, there are Xbox fans and there are PlayStation fans, but ultimately, it's a gaming community.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. The Xbox, the Xbox fans.
We're trying to get.
Yeah. They're a subset of that greater community. I mean, that's what it is.
Right.
The main issue at hand, though, is that unfortunately, and the reason why we're probably never going to be able to get away from that in the community, is that pack mentality is actually a part of human nature. There have been many, many, many studies that have been done on it. There's an artist named Marina Aramovic, I believe is how you pronounce it. And so she did this social experiment where she actually sat herself down in a public place on a chair with a table beside her with it was like 72 different objects, I believe, ranging from things like, feathers that you could tickle her with, up to things as volatile as a loaded gun and a knife, and then let them all know that they could do, like, pick up whatever they want, do whatever they wanted to her, that she wouldn't move. And I think it was like a 4-hour block of time or something like that. So she actually reported after that in that experience, she learned that if you leave the decision to the public, you can be killed. She felt violated. They cut her clothes. They stuck rose thorns in her stomach. One person actually put the loaded gun at her head. And so this is like a social experiment that just goes to show that once momentum gets behind something, once you see one person that's just like, oh, I'll tickle you with a feather, and the next person's not like, oh, well, maybe I'll smack you with a ruler, and then the next person's like, well, maybe I'll go a little bit further, or I'll go a little bit further, or I'll go a little bit further, until you're at the point where there's somebody there with a gun at her head. Pack mentality is actually a part of human nature. So it is something. Right. The reason I wanted to bring it up today is that I think that whilst we complain about it a lot, we do need to start actually understanding that this is something that is never going to change. It is a part of human nature. It just because it's not how we act doesn't mean that the tendencies aren't there in other people. So at the end of the day, as much as we hate pack mentality, as much as we hate all this fanboy stuff, even if it didn't exist, like the pack mentality would still be happening, but just in other aspects of our life. So I think we probably need to just start actually learning to not argue against it, not complain about it, but try and find new ways that we can actually combat it and try and get that behavior out of people's psyche and trying to get them to be a little bit more open-minded and a bit more respectful in their interactions with other people. What I would really like to see is that every time that we came across somebody who was being one of these fanboys, instead of trying to put them back in their place, maybe reaching out to them and saying, hey, you okay? You having a good day? Like, is there something wrong? What games are you playing at the moment? And have a conversation with them about gaming. Bring them back away from that kind of mentality, back into the mindset where, hey, that's right, I am actually here to talk about video games. So let's talk about video games. Let's help each other. Let's be more caring. Let's be more open and understanding, and collectively, let's try and raise the bar a little bit of the psyche of the entire gaming community.
So, that's well said, Bella. I just want to go to a comment in the live chat. Nels Coney said, this is getting kinky.
Okay.
Well, he was talking about the social experiment you were talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like,
that's not my idea of kinky, but whatever does it for you, man.
No, gun to the head. Rose thorns to the stomach is not. That's
Note to the female population: if you get a DM from Fastback, you might want to consider going out that big.
No, that's Nels Coney, not Fastback.
Oh, Nels Coney. Sorry, Fastback. My apologies.
No,
whoa.
No, that's a great point. Yeah, it's a great point, Bella, because I've actually done that with some people, even on Twitter. Like, we like just taking them back to gaming. But I there's certain people out there that think that you shouldn't even address this at all. I think it should be addressed to an extent. I don't think it's anything that needs to be obsessed over. But I agree with you 110%. I think it when you see this behavior, try to bring those folks back to bring them back down to earth.
Yeah, and you're right. You have to set a limit on where you're willing to go with that and how much you're willing to pay attention. But at the same time, you can't play the stick your head in the sand thing, because if you do love and respect gaming, you have to let people know this won't be tolerated in this community.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, or people being jumped on or ganged up, whatever the case may be. Because in your own neighborhood, if you saw some weird shit going down, you probably call the authority or say something. So yeah, when people sit and say, "Oh, you're trying to police Twitter, you're trying to police," oh yeah, in a way, because I don't need to see this.
Yeah.
And if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
That's right.
You know what? That is so true. That is so fucking true. What were you saying, man?
No, I was just saying that's right, man.
And if I'm going to be on here, I don't think some people are like, well, just mute them, just block them, or just leave. No, I don't need to leave because they suck. I like being here because there are more people here who I like to interact with as opposed to the jackasses. Yeah, I block the jackasses. Yeah, I mute the jackasses. But there are still people who I think are cool that tend to still want to roll with that, and they retweet it back into your timeline. You can't help that.
Eric's like, fuck you.
Sometimes you just can't. But sometimes you just can't remain silent either. If you're feeling an emotion and you want to carry out, there's a way to go about it. You don't have to jump down the rabbit hole. You can say your piece and move on. Like I'm watching right now on my Twitter timeline, there's a certain individual going on right now about something, trying to get the pack going, trying to get stir the pot,
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. And for what? Because at the end of the day, who cares?
Yeah.
What someone wants to game on, as long as they are, being a part of the gaming community, feeding into the ecosystem, not bothering anyone, having good conversation, enjoying games, sharing games, discussing things. Why do you care what they play on? Oh, you're not Xbox enough. Oh, you don't rock out with PlayStation. Well, you know what? Who are you to say what someone does or doesn't do?
Yeah, that's true. It's crazy, man. I used to have fucking grown men tweet me, why'd you get the PlayStation 4 version of this game and not the Xbox version?
I'm a grown-ass man.
I'm like, dude, I'm a fucking grown man. What the fuck are you? Seriously? You're grown too, and you're gonna fucking tweet me that? That doesn't even make any fucking sense. It's crazy. Are you care what another grown man buys? And
again, and let me say this, and then I'll back down. You guys can keep going, but
see, I gotta shut up.
Everyone is fine to have a preference. That's the thing that people don't understand. You can have something that you love and want to rock out with, but that shouldn't become vitriol or aggressive to someone else because they may not feel the same. And on the same account, the person that may not feel the same, be respectful about it.
And it's so crazy, that you say that, Eric, because we have preferences with every other thing in life. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to video games, it's like, no, you can't have a preference. You got to like what I like, or
exactly.
I can't mess with you. So
because B-Money, if I said, hey B-Money, did you ever see so and so movie? It was funny as hell. I don't really rock out with comedies like that. Oh really? Okay, cool. What do you like? Conversation.
Exactly.
But the minute it becomes video games, come on.
You know what's crazy though? It's like you can't change your mind on things. Like, let's say you've only gamed on the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation your whole life, or you switch to the Xbox or vice versa. All of a sudden you're a flip-flopper. And it's like, what? Like people don't understand like it's within the human humans in general can change their minds based on their own experiences. It happens every day. It's not uncommon.
Right. And you know what? I may lose sleep, but I promise you it won't be over a plastic box.
Yeah.
I promise you that. Or something that you said to me on Twitter. I promise you I don't think about you that much.
Nope. No. Hey,
by the way, sleep, it has something to do with my family or something, in that regard.
Yeah.
Real life.
Yeah, exactly. Real life. By the way, Bella is saying Final Fantasy in our group chat here.
I'm like, just in case you forgot, there's this little thing called Final Fantasy.
Fantasy.
Final Fantasy, right now, Final Fantasy, like Bella.
Yeah.
Bella. Did you forget me, Bella?
I'm like looking at my PlayStation Pro or lovingly right now. I'm just like, I'm coming back, baby. I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah. Bella, she's sending me nasty DMs.
Oh, I like what Fastback. I love that Fastback. Lose sleep playing games late. That's what's up.
Yep. There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Like Micah said, I don't sleep.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I do just think that it's really important that we all. I mean, what would we complain about if we didn't have fanboys to complain about? You know, what would they have to complain about if there wasn't fanboys, console wars to be able to get involved in? Like, there's always going to be something. So we do need to actually start acknowledging that. No, wanted to bring that as a subject matter up for today because I think that a lot of us always tend to revisit fanboyism and the console wars a lot, and I believe that when it gets to a certain point that week in, week out, everybody's complaining about a certain thing, then it's almost the exact opposite, but it's almost the exact same thing that they're doing, but the opposite point of view. You know, you're actively arguing about that as much as they're actively arguing that fanboy is okay, and yes, you do have to listen to what I'm doing. So I think that it's also really important for us to take a step back sometimes and just go, you know what, if I really don't like this, if I don't want to be somebody who participates in that kind of behavior, but I also don't want to sit back and say, well, I don't want it, but I'm not going to do anything about it, then actively what we all need to be doing is working on trying to engage with people who do act in this manner and get them back to gaming, get them back to talking about gaming, get them to do something nice with somebody else, you know, get them to get that good feeling. Because once you do something nice with somebody else, once you help someone through a game, or you give them a little tip, or you maybe, you know, you chuck them a game code or something like that, like those kind of things that you do, like that warm fuzzy feeling that you get from that is really addictive, and it becomes like you can easily change yourself from being the kind of person who is a little bit addicted on the fanboy console war side of things to being somebody who's now really dedicated to helping other people and creating a better gaming experience for everyone, a safe environment for the youth that are coming through on social media today. There's just so many different elements to it, and even if you are one of these 14 or 15-year-old youths that are acting like a twat, well, it's probably because you've actually had really bad role models, and we need to look at ourselves for that, because if they've had those role models, then where did they get them from when it comes to social media? The other people that they see interacting on social media. So, you know, we need to make sure that we do have a louder voice as a role model in the community, and that we do take people under our wing and help them out when we can, or try and, you know, troubleshoot the issue that they're having with their profile on their Xbox or the frame rate on their PlayStation or whatever it might be, to show people this is actually how shit's done.
Well, Bella, I have a question. How do you raise better 35 and 40-year-olds?
Those are the people that we need to actively be having these conversations with, though, to try and get them to see that their behavior isn't just affecting them and the other 35 and 40-year-olds that they're interacting with. It's actually, they're actually setting themselves out in the community as being a role model for the youth that are coming through, that will actually perpetuate that kind of behavior for many years to come.
Bella, by the way, Josh, hey, big shout out to Josh, by the way. Josh said that was very deep, and he wants to know if that was in the Bible.
It is in Bella's Gaming Bible, which you can find on realgamemedia.com. Actually, you can't, but maybe I should write one.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, big shout out to Josh again. Big shout out to Josh.
Yeah, hi, Joshy.
Yeah, Josh is a good dude.
No, Josh.
Yeah, so
play games and make love, not war.
Yeah,
amen.
And drink beer, or
drink Steel Reserve,
which really isn't beer; it's malt liquor.
I heard that shit's in a can.
Hey, B Money.
I'm joking.
Yeah, B Money. Next time I go up to Ohio, man, we're gonna hang out.
Oh, most definitely, man.
And I'm gonna bring some. I'm gonna bring some Colt 45 to Juicy Beer.
I would say let's hit a Cavs game, but the prices must be ridiculous right now.
Oh,
for what? Oh, for Cavs?
Watch a Cavs game.
Oh yeah, it's probably crazy.
Hey, you guys come here. We can go to the Heat cheap now.
Yeah, because everyone left the Heat. There's no one there to watch.
Yeah, we can get in real cheap now, man.
We get floor seats, man.
Hey, by the way, Eric, let me tell you something, man. I love the South Beach, Miami's fun, man. It's a good town, man.
I never go.
Yeah, I went to Ultra Fest a couple years ago. That was good times.
It's not a place for married men, sir.
Yeah. Well, I had a good time. It was fun.
What's that, Noctis? Yeah, no, I'm coming.
Wow, yeah, I did say it was supposed to be like a short podcast, right?
Buck up. We're just getting
we
started. On that note, we are going to go ahead and wrap up the podcast. They're actually
and you're going to start doing your wrap up by announcing the winner of the code. Don't forget, you've got to do that yet.
Yes, well, we have a winner of the Mortal Kombat X code on the PC.
Fastback's killing me.
Hold on, I gotta see the winner was.
Sam Jackson got deep. Fastback said Sam Jackson got deep in Deep Blue, and a shark ate his ass.
A shark ate me. Fucking ate me. Damn it, Jackson beer.
Okay, on to the code. Let's do it.
Yeah. So Nels Coney.
Yeah. Congrats.
Yeah, hey, I love Nels Coney because he's such a huge Witcher 3 fan.
Seriously.
Yeah, Nels Coney is our winner of our digital code for Mortal Kombat X. Compliments of Real Game Media. By the way, check out their website to get all your latest gaming news. And actually, Sam is now writing articles. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is indeed.
It was good, Sam. Sam, I read it right before the podcast. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, Sam, I got to read.
That's a really good read.
Yeah, Sam, I got to read some of the stuff that you wrote, and it's great, man. It really is, man. That's
Thanks.
awesome. Yeah,
I appreciate it. Please, any feedback?
No, absolutely, man. And at some point, we've talked about this offline. We're gonna do a Witcher 3 podcast. That's gonna happen. That's gonna be a thing.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, we're going to do a Witcher 3 only podcast. We're only going to be talking about Witcher 3. And, so keep an eye out for that announcement. That's probably going to happen sometime soon, I hope. Nels, congratulations again, man. I will DM you the code. And big thank you to everyone in the live chat that, listened to us tonight. And remember to give us a big thumbs up and to subscribe as well. Big shout out to my man Josh in Australia, who was a chat moderator this evening. I just can't say enough about Josh. Good dude.
That bromance.
Let me just tell you something, Bella. When I got into Final Fantasy 15, and I was cruising around, and we're walking around, I thought to myself, "This is me and Josh in Australia."
Oh my god.
Lord. Good night, everybody.
No homo.
No homo. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. But real quick, Bella, why don't you go ahead and plug Real Game Media? Yes, exactly. I'm wrapping up.
Sure. So if you're looking for not just your general digest of the important gaming news that's out and about at the moment, but some really pertinent individual opinions on video games, the industry, and even the effects, cause versus effect and such, you can always find any kind of content like that on the Real Game Media website. We actually also have a interview up there with Gorilla Cambridge at the moment, who are the developers of Rigs for PSVR, where they allude to some very interesting and exciting things that are coming in the near future. So be sure to check all of that out. Shout out to all you guys for tolerating me every week and letting me take the piss out of you. It's very gentlemanlike. Shout out to everybody who likes to make the gaming community better instead of those who like to drag it down a notch. And shout out to Noctis and Gladius. I'm coming, Gladius. I'm coming. I'll be there soon. All
right.
Yeah, Bella even shouts out the dickheads.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you win them. That's how you win them over.
Mm-hmm. B-Money, why don't you go ahead and plug PSC, man?
Yeah. Whenever you guys get a chance, just go ahead and stop over at www.ticgen.com. Check out the latest and greatest in gaming news. And then just hit us up on YouTube /TIC_podcast and check out our latest podcast, where we also have a great feature of other podcasts on there as well that are part of our channel. So check those out. We have something going on pretty much every day of the week, Monday through Friday. So you always find great content over there.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Eric, Sam, for joining us. Yes, Bell, I'm wrapping this up. I'm sorry. All right, so yeah, we'll be back next week, Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And other than that, hey, remember, gamers to game on, but more importantly, have fun doing so, because that's what gaming's all about. And remember, give us a like and subscribe as well. And outside of that, we will catch you guys next week. Peace.
This has been another Brat podcast.
Boom.
Boom.